Okay, this here is nothing, it is coincidence. It is coincidence. You can select it and delete the options whichever it is not required. See, I'll just move this sketch so that it is completely moving with an alignment with respect to this horizontal axis, right? But if I drag this, it is not aligned. That is the difference between this dimensional and geometrical constraints. If this is disabled, you have to give the dimensional and geometrical constraints manually. If this is enabled, it makes you very much easy. For example, if you have drawn a vertical axis, vertical line, CATIA is going to detect it that as a vertical line, and it is going to generate this vertical geometrical constraints. Okay. If this is disabled and then a sketch is drawn, it is not, even though sketch appears to be vertical, while constraining that there might be some deviations. So it is probably better to enable this option and then start with the creating sketches. Now you guys are clear with the sketch tools.
Yeah.
Hmm. Next, moving on to this profiles. Firstly, this one is a profile. What you can do here is, and one more thing is, each time I select an option from this, your my sketch tools toolbar is going to be changed. For a line, I've selected a line, the start point and end point. I'll indicate. You're able to see this end point, start point on the sketch tools, and vertical and horizontal length, vertical length and angle of the line.
Oh,
This is going to differ from option to option. For a circle, it is a center point, and vertical and the radius. These are the three constraints that are going to be given to a circle, and
mhm.
the same will be reflected onto the sketch tools. Then for a rectangle, it is my first point and my width and length and height. It is going to be changed for each and every option that I'm going to choose. This sketch tools. This this is pretty much important. Next, let us talk about this profile option over here. Profile is nothing but you can draw a profile without any gap, without giving any pretty much. Once the profile option is done, you can complete it by closing. This is one type, and you can even arc can be drawn long, little bit pressing the left button. You can draw an arc. For example, I'll draw a line, then long press left button. I'll be getting an arc over here. This this completes the profile option. Next, to draw a rectangle, start point and end point. This is my rectangle. And this there's a drop down menu indicating black color arrow there, right? That is a drop down menu where I can find a lot of other options available in this toolbar. This predefined toolbar, these are the normal rectangle. These are oriented rectangle. If in case you want this rectangle at some an angle, you can be drawing this. All I have to do is first click, second click on this, third click. I'll be getting a rectangle at some particular angle. This is my oriented rectangle. Then parallelogram. Parallelogram, it is almost similar to the oriented rectangle itself. I'll start point, end point, and then at particular angle. I can even indicate it on the sketch tools over here by inputting the degrees. So I've got this parallelogram at certain particular angle. Yeah. While when we are doing with sketches, in case sometimes you rotate this by mistake or something, what you can do to bring back to the original orientation is you can click on this normal view over here, this below toolbar, normal view. Click it, the sketch is going to be oriented to the normal. Next, we're going to talk about as elongated hole. This is a elongated hole. First click, this is my axis of this elongated hole. Then I can input the horizontal direction or vertical direction. I'll give it as around. Now I'll be able to this. These dimensions, one second, I'll show you. Now I will disable this dimensional constraint. After disabling this dimensional constraint and with enabling this dimensional constraint, I'm able to see the difference between these two, right? Here, with enabling this dimensional constraint, I'm able to get the constraint that I've already without even giving manually. Automatically, this is CATIA is going to detect it automatically and then give some constraints. Here, only the geometrical constraints. There's a parallel this line and these two lines are in parallel with each other. Because of that, it is showing only the geometrical constraints, or else, and in this case, it is showing as a dimensional constraint. This is the difference between this dimensional constraint, enabling and disabling of this dimensional constraint. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Next, let me cylindrical elongated hole. And cylindrical elongated hole, it is almost similar to this elongated hole, but it is at certain with certain radius. So I'll just select my first part and my second part and then draw an arc. I'll be able to get an elongated hole at particular radius. This is cylindrical elongated hole, which is almost, I'll select first point, my second part, and draw an arc. Draw an arc up till here. Now I'm able to see this elongated, circular elongated hole. And next, let's move on to this key profile. On this key profile, first point, second point, and then Talbi. These are normally used for some presses where where two parts are meeting together. There has to be some alignment. At that time, they are going to use this key profiles and all. Normally, in a sketch environment, for most of the parts that you're going to be designed, only these much options are enough. Use your line, circle, rectangle. These are not going to be used anywhere else, but it is probably good to know all these options. Then it is hexagon. Hexagon. I'll select the center point of this hexagon, then give the orientation. I can place it however I want it to be. This dotted line over here, this gray color dotted line indicates in which orientation the hexagon has to be placed. If I want it to be this one, it is, I'll click it. This is my hexagon. Then coming to a centered rectangle. I'll just select a center. From that center, the rectangle is going to be created from a particular center point with equidistance. Equidistance is nothing but it is going to be uh, at a so if you measure the dimension from here to here, it is going to be the same thing. For example, I'll show you. This is a constraint. From here to here, I'm going to give a distance of 500. It's similar to mirror. You don't have to give this complete dimension, only half of the dimension. The part is this rectangle is going to be constrained with respect to this horizontal and vertical lines. This is my centered rectangle, and next is the centered parallelogram. I'll show you what is centered parallelogram. For for this option, you need a particular line. For example, wait, I'll do it like this. Generate a line. First, you have to select this line. Then one more line. You need two lines. Select the first line. Second line. Then you're going to get this. Okay. For this centered parallelogram, all you need is two lines which are perpendicular to each other. For example, this is my vertical line and this is my horizontal line. And I need first line will be my vertical and the second line will be horizontal. With respect to these two lines, my another parallelogram is going to be created. Okay, in case if this line is at a certain angle, for example, this is a vertical line and this is a line at an angle. Now I'll select this and I'll select this. Now parallelogram is at certain angle. Clear with this, right?
Yeah.
So next we'll be moving on to circular profiles. First one in a circular profile is a normal circle. Select You have to select the center point of that circle and mention the radius. You can either input it from the sketch tools or you can manually input it while doing the constraints option in the sketch environment itself. Okay, this is a normal circle. Normal circle can be done at anywhere. All you have to select is a midpoint, then you have to move your mouse so that the circle is being created. Next, this is a 3-point arc. You have to select a first point, set point, and with respect to that, as a circle has been created. Here the difference between that and this is, here you'll be inputting a radius, particular radius. In this case, it is not like that. For example, if you have two lines going like this, and you need a circle between these 2 points, what you can select the first point, second point, and the circle. You're able to see the circle now generating normally, right?
Mm-hmm.
In this case, this 3-point arc is very much useful. Next, this is a circle using coordinates. Rather than selecting the middle point, you have to manually input it the distance of the circle from the horizontal and vertical plane. These yellow color two lines indicates that this is the horizontal and this is the vertical axis. Okay, now I'm going to input. I want my circle to be at a distance of 45 from the horizontal axis and 45 from the vertical axis with a radius of 20 mm. Now I've got a circle which is at a distance of 45 from the horizontal and vertical axis and with a radius of 20 mm. Next, coming on to the tritangent circle. In this case, all you need is three lines. One, two. Ah, in case I need a circle between these three lines, I'll choose this tritangent circle. Then I'll input my first line, second line, and third line. Now I'll be generating a circle which is tangent to these three lines. That is a tritangent circle. Okay. Then coming to a 3-point arc. 3-point arc, I'll be selecting first, second, and my third point, so that an arc is generated. First, this is 3-point arc. First point, second point, and the third point. You'll be generating an arc. This is normal arc. I'll be inputting the middle point of that arc and the distance. Then I'll be generating the arc. Next, moving on to this spline. Spline is nothing but a freeform line, freeform geometry. It is smooth and curved, unlike your line and other profiles. You can generate a shape that is required, however you require. This is my spline. To generate a spline, you need a multiple points. Once you select a spline, keep on clicking so that this is my first point, second point, third point, and fourth point. To end with this fourth point, you have to do is double click on this point, or else the spline is going to be continued. For example, 1, 2, 3, 4. Single click. If I click the mouse once, the spline is going to be continued. If I double click the left mouse button, then the spline is going to end over here. Spline. Then this is a connect curve. Connect curve. You need two lines. This can vary from anything. It can either be a line or a circle or anything. For connect curve, make sure I'll select this connect curve and select the first point. Select the second point. There is a curve generating that is going to be connected between these two lines. It can either be a line. These two profiles can either be a line or a circle or anything. Any other profiles too can be connected with this connect option. Next, coming on to this conic profiles. Here we'll be discussing about only this ellipse option, because these three options we are not going to use it anywhere else. What we'll do is ellipse. I'll select my first point. Ellipse has a three things. One is a major radius and the minor radius and the midpoint. Once I select the midpoint, I'll be inputting my major radius. Then it will be asking for the minor radius. This is my end. I'll be generating an ellipse. Lines. These, there are several kinds of lines in this line options. This is normal line. I'll be selecting my first point, second point. I'll get a line. This is a infinite line. Infinite line, I'll just input a particular point. From that point, the line is going to be infinite. I'll just zoom out from the screen. You can see the line is infinite. This is an infinite line. This one is bitangent line. Bitangent line, you need two circles, and I need a line passing tangentially to these two circles. I'll select my first circle and select my second circle. This is a bitangent line which passes tangency with respect to this two circles. This is a bisecting line. Bisecting line, I'll teach you two circles. Line. Then I need a line. I need two lines bisecting. I'll be selecting my first line and my select line, second line. Between these 2 points, a line is going to be generated that is exactly at the middle of these two lines. I'll show you. See, I have a line over here and I have a line here. Now I'm going to create a line, bisecting line, bisecting line. This is my first line. I want the bisecting line between these two lines. This is my second line. Between these two, I'll be generating a bisecting line that is infinite. This bisecting line is going to be at the exact center of these two lines. And let's delete this stuff. Line normal to a curve. It is nothing but generating a line perpendicular to another line. So I'll generate a line. This is my line. I need a line perpendicular to this. I'll just select this line and select the end point, so that I'll be generating a line perpendicular to the another line. And next we'll be discussing with this axis. Axis is nothing but you're going to create a axis line for a circle or for in case you want to do a mirror. For that you need an axis line, and that case you'll be creating this axis line. Once this axis line is done, then you can mirror this line with respect to this axis line. Okay. Next we'll go to points. This is point by clicking. You just have to select the point and just click on the screen so that the point is generated on the screen. Okay. Then constrain the point with respect to horizontal and vertical axis, so that you can generate the point has been generated at certain distance from the vertical and horizontal axis. Then this is point by using coordinates. You have to input the distance from horizontal and vertical axis, and even you can give an angle in case there is a line generating between that point. Polar coordinates I'll discuss next we'll discuss with this polar coordinates. Polar, I'll input a radius of 50 mm at an angle of 45 degrees. Now I'll be getting a point which is at an angle of 45 degrees from the horizontal axis, and if you measure the distance between this point, the origin point and the point that is being generated, the distance would be 50 mm. These are the difference between the polar and Cartesian coordinates. Polar coordinates, you're going to input the radius and the angle so that the point is generated at certain angle. Okay, I'll describe it much more clearly. See, in case I have a circle and I want a point to be generated at this area, I can either I'll just manually click so that the point is being generated. Now I want the radius of this circle to be 50 mm diameter of 50 mm. Now I'll measure the distance of this point from this midpoint of the circle, so this is going to be 25. The same thing is being applied over here also in polar coordinates. Uh, okay, for example, I'll create a circle midpoint. This is my circle and I'm generating a point on this circle at an angle of 45 degrees. This is a polar coordinates. Next, this is the equidistance point. To create equidistance point, you need lines. You need a line, and on this line I'll be generating the points at an equal distance. I'll be inputting number of points that I want. I need around 4 points. Since the length of this line is irregular, uh, defaultly that CATIA is going to calculate the distance between these 2 points according to the length of this line. If the length of this line is around 100 mm, guess 100 mm, the CATIA is going to calculate in such a way that the distance of this 4 point that is being generated on that line of length 100 mm, it is going to be length of that line divided by 4, and it is going to calculate it. This is the formula that has been generated because according to the length of this line. If I'm going to change the length of this line, say by 150 mm, I'll just delete all these points. This is my horizontal line. Now I'll just create an equidistance point. I need, say, I'll input 2 points, and the distance between the 2 points is going to be 150. It is completely based on the length of this line. If the length of this line is around 50 mm, it is going to create 2 points so that it is at a distance of 50 mm from this point and 50 mm from this point, and the middle distance is going to be 50 mm too, so the total becomes around 150 mm. This is the equidistance point. Next is going to be intersection point. Imagine if there is two lines, if there are two lines and you need the intersection of these two lines, intersection point of this first line and the second line. So the intersection point of these two lines is going to be generated, where the first line and the second line are meeting together. Point is going to be generated at that exact position. This is this completes points. Then this is project 3D point. If I have a point, say I have a point at some distance over here, I want that point to be projected on this line. I'll make this line horizontal. Project this point on this line. It is going to project that point perpendicular to this line. It is going to project on this line, so that the point is generating exactly on that line, coinciding with this line itself. This is the project point. Next we'll move on to this operations, list of operations that can be done after creating a sketch. Firstly, we'll be discussing with corner, chamfer and trim options. For example, I'll draw a line, horizontal line and a vertical line. These are my two lines. Now I'll create a corner between these 2 points. I can either select this point, intersection point, so that a corner is being generated, or I can select this two lines, line 1, line 2, so that a corner is generated. And other options available in this is corner. In the sketch toolbars, you are able to see this line now. Trim first element only and trim both the elements. In this case, it is trimming both the elements. I'll show you. This is my first case. It is trimming this line and this line so that the corner is being generated. In my second case, this is my second case. In second case, it is going to trim the trim first line. I'll generate a corner. Only the first line, you're able to see only this first line is going to be trimmed and the second line is going to remain the same. And in my third case, in this case, both the lines are going to remain the same. There is no trim occurring at all. And the corner is being generated. This is third case. Now, this is standard line. So for example, if your line, I'll extend this line a bit. In case my two lines are like this, it is going to create a corner. I'm selecting corner, standard lines trim. I'm going to select the corner. It is going to trim this two lines so that a corner is generated with those two standard lines, and a corner is being generated between these two standard lines too. Then my fourth option, okay, this one is construction line. In this case, what is going to do it? It is going to generate a corner, and the standard lines are going to be converted to a reference line. These gray colored dotted lines indicate that it is converted into a reference line. Only these active lines will be considered for the 3D sketch, and this reference lines will not be considered in while creating a sketch based features, and you'll come to know in this upcoming classes and all. Next I'll create a rectangle corner. This is my fourth option. In this case, right, I'll extend this line. In this case, I'll select first line and the select line. It is going to create a corner between those two standard lines and convert it into a reference line, then create a corner. Now you guys are clear with this corner option, right?
Yeah.
These are corner options. Next, moving on to chamfer. Chamfer option. Here also you will be able to see this sketch tools toolbar converting into giving several more options available for this chamfer. First one, I'll let you know this first element. It is almost similar to this chamfer option, corner option. Sorry. I'll select the first line, second line, and then create a chamfer. One second. I'll repeat this command. I'll either can select this point, or I can select this first line and second line, then create. Here I can input the length of this chamfer in case I want it to be around 80 mm and the angle to be 45 degrees. This is my length of the chamfer and 45 degrees. It is at an angle of 45 degrees with respect to these two lines. Chamfer. In this case, I'll select the first line, second line, then create a line. This first element is going to trim and the second element is going to be remain the same. This is almost similar to the first one which I already explained you in case of corner. This sketch tools is going to be same. Okay, so I'll skip this and move on to this trim command. Fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, trim command. Next, moving on to this trim command, I'll create in case there are two lines per here and I need a corner. These are relimitation commands. I'll close all this. Now relimitation commands. I need to create a corner between these two lines. What I can do is first I'll select this option, then select my first line and second line so that a corner is being created. And it depends if I want the corner, if there are first line and select line. Got to know the difference, right?
Yeah.
First I'll be selecting the portion that I want to be there on the screen itself. For example, I need this portion of this line. I'll select this portion and this portion so that there's a corner generating between these two portions and the rest all the portions have been trimmed. Now I'll select the portion that I want to remain, that should be remaining as this and this, and the rest all the portions should be trimmed. This is the difference between the trim option, selecting the trim option. And in this, one more thing is available as trim only the first element. For example, this is my first line and this is my second line. Only my first line will be trimming and the second line will be remaining the same itself. This extra portion of this first line got trimmed. I'll repeat this command with this second line. For example, I want this portion to be remaining and this portion to go. I'll select the line and I'll select the second line. So our other portion of that line is going to be trimmed. Next, we'll go with the break line. See, in case you close this all the options and your options are not available, you don't have to panic. Yeah, all you have to go to is tools, customize, toolbars, restore all contents. Okay, one second. Restore position. Trim. In case there are example, there's a line. I'm repeating the trim command once again. Trim. This is trim only the first element. I'll trim this with respect to this line. Only the first element which I select is going to get trimmed and the second element is going to remain the same.
Mhm.
Here I'm going to select this is my first line. For example, I want this portion to be remaining and the other portion to get removed to be removed. I'll select the portion that I want to that should be remaining and then I'll select the second line so that the remaining portion is being removed and only the portion that I want is okay. Then this is the trim command. In case by mass you close this options and you're not able to find this option anywhere on this toolbar command, what you can do is go to tools options, go to customize, and you're able to see this commands toolbar, right? Toolbars position, toolbars tab. Here you can command restore all the contents so that all the content which has been closed will be restored and restore the positions of those contents that has been closed. Now all the contents that I have closed is going to be restored. I'll just keep those commands which I require and drag and drop it. Hmm. Next I'll go with break line command. Break line. This is my line and this is my another line. I'll choose this break command. I want this line to be break at this point. So now this is a two independent lines. This is a separate line and this is a separate line. I'll repeat this command once again. I have two lines here and I have a line over here. Now this is a single line. You're able to see this line highlighting as a single right? Now I'll break this line into two halves with respect to this line. At this point I want now this is a complete separate line and this is a complete independent separate line. I'm breaking the line into two halves. Okay, next going on to trim option. In case there are two lines and you want to generate a corner, you can either use this command or you can go to quick trim. Quick trim enables you to select the lines that has to be trimmed. You can select the quick trim and this portion has to be removed, so that I'll select this so that there is a corner is being generated. This is this is almost similar to trim. This is another option given by this CATIA. I'll select this quick trim and I'll select the portion that I want to remove. I'll select this so that the corner is being formed. Clear with this, right?
yeah,
Hmm. Next, close an arc. For close an arc, in case there is an arc, this is a semicircle. I want this circle to be a complete whole circle. In that case, I can use this option close arc. Close arc and select this line. Select the circle. You will be generating the CATIA, your sketch environment is going to generate a circle that was only half. It is going to complete. It is going to generate a complete circle. Now this is a complement. I want the complement of this arc. I just selected. I'll select this so that the complement of that arc is being generated and the original arc is being removed. Only the complement is nothing but generating the other half of the circle by removing the other half. See, this is I want the other half of this arc. So what I can do is I can select the complement option and select the arc so that the other half of this arc is being generated. Hmm? Okay. Next, moving on to transformation features in the sketch environment. Transformation features. In this transformation features, the first option is mirror, symmetry, translate, rotate, scale, and offset. I'll teach you. First thing I'll teach you mirror. See, this is a line. I want this line to be mirrored with respect to this vertical axis. I'll select the mirror option, select the line, then select the vertical axis so that the line is being mirrored with respect to this vertical axis. For in case I give a dimension of say 4 mm, even the other line is going to be changed because it is a mirror.
yeah,
Hmm? In case I'll change this dimension to be 6 so that the other line is also going to change because these two are interrelated. Next, symmetry option. Symmetry is almost similar to mirror sketch. In mirror, it will be creating a duplicate copy of the original line. In symmetry, it is going to the original line is itself going to be moved to the other half. Got to know, right?
yeah.
The difference between the mirror and
Okay.
hello.
Yeah,
Uh, the difference between this mirror and the symmetry command is mirror. It is going to create a duplicate copy of the original line. In case
yeah.
of symmetry, the original line is going to move to the mirrored position.
Okay, sir.
Hmm? Next, translate option. Translate on this dialog box. You can see it is a duplicate mode, or even you want the original sketch to be moved, or anything. For example, I'll move the original sketch itself. I want it this line. I'll select the line that has to be moved, and I'll select a point from this point to this point. This line is being translated. I'll repeat this command. Translate, duplicate mode. I'll select the line that I want to be translated, then select the point and select the second point. I'll select the second point at a distance. Say I can even input the distance here around 30 mm. I'll just click. This line has been duplicate copy of this line has been translated. at a distance of 30 mm from this line. Hmm? Okay, this is duplicate mode, and if you disable this, the original line itself is going to be translated at certain distance. I'll translate it at certain distance. The original line is itself is going to be translated. Next, coming on to this rotate command. Rotate. I'll select the line that I want. I'll select the profile that has to be rotated, and select the origin point of this rotating point. For example, I want it to be rotated from this line, this point. I'll just select a point, just select a line, and I'll input the angle so that the point is being, so that the a line is going to be rotated at particular angle. Next, coming on to scale. For example, I have a rectangle and I want a rectangle on a, of I want this rectangle duplicate. I'll just scale all this. I'll select some point. From this point the scale has to be generated, say around 0.5 mm. Scale option is nothing but either shrinking the profile or enlarging the profile. Okay, I'll once again repeat this command.
Mm.
Scale. I'll select a midpoint and just give 1.5. Scale is nothing but it is either going to be shrinking the profile or it is going to enlarge the profile. It depends on the person. Okay. This completes scale. Next we'll go with offset. Offset. Hmm. Select the profile that has to be offsetted and input the distance from here. I want it at a distance of say around 30 mm. I can offset the circle at a distance of 30 mm from this original circle. It can be either way. It can be either in the opposite direction too. For example, I'll select the circle. I want it in the this direction. I'll just input it here and I'll just move my cursor towards the inside of that circle and I'll give input a dimension of 5 mm. This completes the transformation features. Hmm. Okay, okay guys, this is your sketch environment, and to just exit the sketch environment, I've completed my sketch. Exit a sketch workbench. There's an option called as exit workbench. The right corner of your screen, you're able to see this exit workbench. To exit from the sketch workbench, you have to press so that the part design workbench, so that you enter into a 3D workbench. Here you will be able to see this all those. Here you will be able to see all those 3D commands and all. Okay, this will be discussing tomorrow, part design. So, now let us end this session with this sketch workbench itself. Okay, you guys have anything else to ask?
Uh,
Any commands to be repeated? Hello.
Hello? Uh,
Do you have any doubts so that the I can clear your doubts in the sketch environment if there is?
Uh, Hi, this is Aditya.
Yeah. Hello, Aditya.
Yes, there was some miscommunication and I joined a little late because I thought it was Pacific time and I
Okay.
just saw that it's Mountain time.
Okay.
So I missed the first half an hour of this lecture and I was wondering whether you have a recorded version of it.
Yeah, I have recorded version of it.
So can you send it to me
Yeah.
or
You,
share it somehow?
yeah, what you can do is you can ask the support team. I'll be sharing the video with your support team. Then the support team will be sharing to you guys.
Okay, I'll ask him to do it.
Okay. Okay.
And uh, second one is, did you talk anything about how we were supposed to download the software, or where are you giving it to us?
No, I did not talk anything about that. If you guys need a software or downloading how to know how to download the softwares, you can contact those support team. They will guide you regarding all those things and all those materials that I'll be sharing. You can contact those support team. They'll be sharing it.
Okay, okay, I'll contact him and I'll
Okay.
try to get a version of the software as well.
Okay, fine. And in case you have
I
any other.
talked to I talked to the support team about this just today afternoon, and he sent a mail saying that trainer will let you know when to install software. He may give a cracked version, I guess, and
Okay.
this is what he said.
Okay, okay. The support team is all. I have already given the software. The support team is going to upload it into a cloud, and they'll going to be, and they'll share you the link so that you guys can download the software from that link and then install it. What you can do is before joining tomorrow's class, you guys have to install those software so that you guys can practice this sketch environment. Then the after then we'll be practicing some sketches tomorrow. Then we'll start with the 3D workbench.
Okay, I'll ask the
Okay.
support team for the recording, and then I'll do repeat all the things you have done after I download the software.
Okay, sure.
Then I should be ready for tomorrow's class.
Okay, sure. In case if you have any doubts, we can I'll clarify you the doubts tomorrow in tomorrow's class.
Uh, okay, thank
Okay.
you.
Okay.